us meet the starting lineups for tonight's national title game. First, the defending National Collegiate Basketball champions, UCLA. Number 52 at forward, 6'6", a junior from Santa Barbara, California, Keith Wilkes. Number 54 at forward, 6'5", a senior from Denver, Colorado, Larry Farmer. Number 32 at center, 6'11", a junior from Mesa, California, Bill Walton. Number 53 at guard, 6'4", a senior from Compton, California, Larry Holyfield. Number 43 at guard, 6'4", a junior from Reseda, California, Greg Lee. And the coach of UCLA, John Wooden. Starting lineups for the Missouri Valley champions, Memphis State. Number 20, forward, 6'7", a junior, Glasgow, Kentucky, Billy Bucher. Number 35 at forward, 6'9", a junior, Birmingham, Alabama, Larry Kenyon. Number 33 at center, 6'8", a senior, Memphis, Tennessee, Ronnie Robinson. Number 10 at guard, 5'10", a junior, Versailles, Missouri, Bill Lowry. Number 21 at guard, 6'2", a senior, Memphis, Tennessee, Larry Fish. Coach Pete Marco. 19,000 jammed in here. The game has been sold out for months. Of the 4 participating schools, each received only 1,000 tickets. On your left, James Howell of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Joe Scotian of the Missouri Valley Conference on your right of the game official. Bill Walton will jump against Larry Kenyon. UCLA in the blue or dark jerseys, Memphis State in white, the game for the national title. UCLA has the tip. Keith Wilkes. Greg Lee, the point man. Holyfield to Wilkes. Walton screening for it. Holyfield pumps out of the corner. He hits it. 2-0, UCLA.
And they say if Holyfield hits his first shot, he's due for a good night.
The famous all-court press on by UCLA. Finch beats it with a dribble. Finch fires. On the board, it's out of bounds. Foul is called on Ronnie Robinson. First team foul of the game, of course. Greg Lee and Holyfield will bring it down. Walton's in on a low pivot, and Keith Wilkes is in there with him, a double low post. On the wing, Farmer. Turn around. Wilkes makes it 4-0.
And you'll notice that Memphis State is not double teaming Walton. They're just putting Kenyon on, and we'll see if it works.
That foul is on Larry Holyfield. Imagine UCLA was ripped by their coach the second half against Indiana when they were ahead 20 points and almost let Indiana catch him. Johnny Wooden was very unhappy. And he hasn't fired up here. Out in front, Bill Lowry. Shot by Kenyon. Good. 4-2. Larry Kenyon gets the first one for Memphis State. Greg Lee brings it down for UCLA. Again, taking a low double post. Walton and Wilkes inside. Greg Lee out in front. Jump shot, foul call on Billy Bucher. Second team foul on Memphis State. Common foul, not on the active shooting. UCLA's ball out of bounds. Lead to Walton. Billy Bucher fouls the error, which Keenan.
But they're calling them awful close early in the game. They don't want it to get too physical.
Great pass in by Holyfield to Walton. 6-2, UCLA. Buford to Lowry. No stall tonight or deep freeze by Memphis State. They're going right after him. Keenan hit it. 6-4. That's his shot, Larry Keenan. A high jumper. He has a beautiful touch on the ball. 6-4, UCLA. Walton spinning. Look at that quickness of Bill Walton. 8-4. 6-11. Did you see power spin off that pivot? Very agile big man. Lowry into the forecourt for Memphis State. Jump shot by Keenan. Walton partially blocked at that time. Robinson retrieves. Robinson jump shooting. Keenan's up. He gets it. 8-6. Larry Keenan now has 3 baskets off Walton.
And that is why Memphis State hopes to give UCLA all they can handle. That big front line.
Greg Lee, Larry Holyfield. Oh, what a roar here at courtside. Fouls on Bill Walton for putting out of there. He was throwing his rump into his defender. Second team foul on UCLA. Remember, after 6 common fouls, we have the bonus free throw situation. They're trying to trap Finch. Lowry gets it across without any problems. 8-6 UCLA. Nearly 3 minutes gone. Deflected out by Greg Lee. Coach Wooden with his top assistant. And there's Gene Bartow in the light suit and the glasses, just voted the Coach of the Year in the University Division by the National Association of Basketball Coaches. Larry Finch. Shot up. Good. Game tied, 8-all. He had to arch that shot high in the air. He knew Bill Walton would be trying to intimidate him. Game is tied. He's Wilkes outside. Wilkes follows his own shot. Ball away jumper. And the tip in. No good. No good. I think Walton had his hand up on the rim previous shot.
Here's a replay on that missed shot. You can see the ball is on the rim. So is Walton's hand. That's offensive goaltending right there.
8-8, tied up. State. Buford, Keenan jumper. What goes in? He hits it. 10-8, Memphis State. Larry Keenan hot with his jump shot. Walton has blocked one, but he can't get to him otherwise. The way Keenan can jump, he almost matches Walton's physical size. Holyfield hits to the score side, 10-10. 4 minutes gone. A tie ball game for the national championship. Gets it through the top. Very fine ball handler, Larry Finch. He's the playmaker of the team. Jump shot. He hits it. 12-10, Memphis State. Memphis State deliberated about playing a stall game or a deliberate game and said, no, we're going to come out and play it our way. We'll take our chances and go right with them. He's Wilkes. Robinson right on him. Lowry trying to sneak it away. Bill Walton off the pivot now. Wilkes. What? Walton out of bounds. UCLA ball.
Memphis State in a very tough, aggressive man-to-man. UCLA found a very tough time handling that ball, dribbling around in that midcourt area.
I think UCLA call time as they do. It's a rarity for John Wooden. We'll talk to you about that. Right now with a timeout, the score, Memphis State 12, UCLA 10.
You drive.
Is that?
That's my dad. Dad, we're getting married tonight. I love him. You're always trying to do this.
Rachel, it's okay. Just take your mother's car.
Cadillac XLR. Breakthrough. Collect Cholesterol. It comes buttered, battered, basted, and roasted. But it also comes from Mom, Dad, Grandma Rose, and Grandpa Joe. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the two sources of cholesterol, food and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin lowers bad cholesterol 45 to 60%. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Continue to follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the two sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
John Wooden does not like to call the first time out of a game. He preaches to his team about conditioning. Psychologically, he doesn't think it's good to call the first time out, but he just has. He has something important to say to his team, and Bill Walton ties the game at 12 all. 8 points for Bill Walton, 8 points for Larry Keenan. Bill Walton takes the rebound. Fouls on Ronnie Robinson. 4th team foul on Memphis State. Here's the replay on this. Keenan trying to get his shot away. Walton had him well covered that time. And inside, Robinson pushed off with his left elbow, committing the foul. Game is tied 12 to 12. This was a very aggressive man-to-man. Oh, pass by Bill Walton. As soon as that ball hit his hands, they double-teamed him, and he fed off. Beautiful feed off by Walton. Lowry defense. Foul on Greg Lee. 3rd team foul on UCLA. First foul on Lee. Memphis State's ball under their own bucket. 14-12 UCLA. 14 and a half left to play in the first half. That was a gamble lob in. Finch shot blocked by Holyfield. Spinning to Robinson and ties it at 14 all. Ronnie Robinson.
He shoots 53% from the field, so they can't let him free out there.
Trying to spread him out. Walton inside. Ball taken away by Buford. Larry Finch brings it down. UCLA's dropped back now. Not using the all-court press. Finch comes outside. He hurried that shot. He's not coming down and getting his good shot. Finch has it, but he's out of bounds. UCLA's ball. Game tied 14 to 14. 13 minutes, 40 seconds to play in the first half. Greg Lee in the forecourt. That foul's on Larry Keenan. 5th team foul on Memphis State. He was holding Bill Walton. That's the first foul on Keenan. Larry Holyfield will throw it in.
Keenan feels that he can jump with the best of them and that he can handle Walton one-on-one.
Violation called on UCLA. Memphis State ball. They go back to their zone all-court press. They'll try and put 2 men on one and trap him and deflect the pass or steal. There it is, you see. They did it. They forced Larry Finch into an error. Greg Lee. Walton. Spinning. Up and good. The foul's on Larry Keenan.
Here's Walton, and you see this great offensive move by a man 6'11", hip driving ability, strong into the basket, and when he goes up there, he's up.
16 to 14, UCLA. And I believe a technical foul has also been called. Technical foul on Memphis State. And a timeout now has been called. Oh, with a timeout, our score is UCLA 16, Memphis State 14.
A nation mourns as Newt Rockne, legendary coach of the Fighting Irish, dies at the age of 43 in an airplane crash in a pasture outside Bazaar, Kansas. At his funeral back in South Bend, thousands will recall great moments along the way to his 3 national championships and 5 unbeaten seasons. Rockne's .881 winning percentage remains unmatched. That was March 31st, 1931.
Performance and protection that goes and goes. For 5,000, 7,500, or 15,000 miles, introducing new high-endurance oils from Mobil. 3 new formulations that provide powerful, long-lasting protection of critical engine parts. For 5,000, 7,500, or 15,000 miles, guaranteed. New high-endurance oils from Mobil. The oil that's changing oil.
When you've got a serious leak, it's time for Leak Ender 2000. It fixes any leak fast, no matter what's leaking. Just spray it with Leak Ender 2000, and in minutes, the leak is sealed. Look, we'll cut this garden hose with a knife, then shut off the water and spray on Leak Ender 2000. Minutes later, the hose is as good as new. The cut is sealed. Leak Ender 2000 is a unique compound that fills and seals any crack or separation as it hardens. Why put up with gushing gutters, dripping drains, wet windowsills, and rain-soaked RVs? Leak Ender 2000 stops all those leaks, and it's yours for only $14.95. Call now and we'll double your order. We'll send you this giant-size can at no extra charge. Order now.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-883-5995 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $5.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-883-5995.
The echo in the gym. The squeak of the shoes. The buzzer. The brick. The whistle. The crowd. Swish. I left the game, but it'll never leave me.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
Before this year's Masters, Sports Century reveals the story of Phil Mickelson.
I don't mind if players or media criticize me for reckless play because I have a lot more wins than any of them.
Sports Century, Phil Mickelson, 8 p.m. Monday on ESPN Classic.
Dell has great deals on your complete PC waiting for you now. And get up to 30% off select Dell systems. This Dimension desktop with an Intel Celeron processor is $399 after a 10% instant savings. Plus, get a free printer. Dell notebooks start at just $637. And get up to 30% off select Dell systems. It's only a click or call away. Get more out of now. Dell PCs use Intel Celeron processors.
Discover the amazing hitting secrets of America's finest baseball school in Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing 2. Tommy Mansky's powerful teaching video that features the same revolutionary techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches have been simply amazed at their students' rapid week-by-week improvement. These award-winning techniques benefit players of all ages and ability levels and make a valuable addition to any coach's library and a great gift. At just $29.95, call now.
Keenan. In rebound, UCLA has 5, Memphis State 3. 3 errors charged to UCLA, 1 to Memphis State. And Greg Lee shoots the free throw. That's the second part of that walk being fouled in the act of shooting, then a technical. Greg Lee made it 17-14. He really shot the technical, and Walton, the free throw, awarded for the foul on him in the act of shooting. Keith Wilkes. about him, I think, getting in early foul trouble. Larry Finch brings it down. Holyfield right with him. Buford. Red Lee down, pass breaking, 3-on-3, feeding Luke. He hits it 19-14. Three-man pass break, Red Lee fed it off.
That's where Lee is most effective. He really runs the offense well.
19-14 UCLA. Larry Finch up, he hits. 19-16 UCLA. 12 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the half. 6 points for Larry Finch. Red Lee to Holyfield. Walton on the pivot. And just a turnaround banker makes it 21-16. Walton has 12 points in the first half. People don't talk too much about UCLA defense. Maybe their best defensive team, this current squad. They've held opponents to an average of 59 a game this year. Very, very excellent defensive club. Fouls on Keith Wilkes. 4 team fouls on UCLA. Memphis State has 6 team fouls. Memphis State's ball out of bounds. 21-16 UCLA, 11 and a half to go in the first half.
And UCLA will be in a helping man-to-man, a very aggressive one.
Finch is fouled by Larry Farmer, 5th team foul. And he really gets fouled on this one, Tom.
Here goes Finch up for that jumper. Farmer coming across, he's out of position, trying to stop him, and you can see the hands and the body.
Larry Finch shooting 2. Lost his father when he was young. Lived on Select Street, Orange Mound area, Memphis. Leading scorer in his team for the last 3 years. 7 points in this game. Does outstanding work with youngsters in the playground in his off time. 21-18. UCLA ahead. Their ball. Going to work inside now. 23-18, he has 14 points in the first half. That's all he had in the entire game against Indiana. He didn't want to have one of his great games last Saturday. Larry Finch fires a long way. 23-20. It's necessary for him to do that tonight to loosen up UCLA inside.
He's a take charge guy. He's their leader and they know it. So does he, and he's determined.
Robinson. Oh, Westfield.
It's very seldom that a big man can make a move like this to draw a foul, but here's Walton, and you see Westfall all over him. Westfall, by the way, is from St. Louis. He went to Sumner High School here in St. Louis.
Memphis State is called for a timeout.
Uh-oh, not good. Okay, boys, time to go to work. Come on, let's go.
Want to keep your car looking pit crew perfect? Introducing DuPont Teflon Car Care products. When you use DuPont Teflon Wax, Protectant, and Tire Shine, dirt, mud, and grime have a hard time sticking. So your car practically keeps itself shiny. DuPont Teflon Car Care products. A miracle of science from DuPont.
Delivery pizza, baby. Play it for the last piece. Up my jump man, go! Space, right back there, baby! That element, come on, you need some help. Yeah! Skywalker for the W! Hey, that's my delivery pizza!
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
These gardens have the most exquisite Venus flight. Oh, he likes you.
Go where you want with your free weekend from Avis. Now rent for a week and get a free weekend to use later. Find our lowest prices at avis.com.
What do you think so far, Tom?
I think that Gene Bartow is probably over there in his lineup right now with this huddle, with his team, saying we've got to do something about that ball coming into Bill Walton. He has 14 points already, and when he gets his hands on it, he is killing us. So we'll probably see a little different defensive alignment so that you can keep that ball out of the center.
Bill Walton, you know, has tendonitis in his knees. He grew too quickly. He did 7 out of 7 from the floor. An hour before every game, hour and a half, he packs those knees with a hydraulic hot pack system.
Yes.
And then after the game, he has to pack his knees in ice.
Every game.
Wilkes follows. Walton just missed the tip. No good. Up on that rim again.
Yeah, he was up there again. He made contact with the ball. But he is charging that basket tonight. Nothing is going to keep him away from it.
I've never seen him move quicker as he is off the pivot tonight, Tom. He's really fired up. And has lightning moves as he spins off the post. Larry Finch didn't have control of the ball. He's fouled by Larry Farmer. Second foul on Farmer, the 6th team foul on UCLA. Larry Finch gets 2 shots, fouled in the act of shooting. Larry Finch this year hit 83% of his free throws. He has 2 for 2 thus far. Now 3 for 3. And the score is 23-21, UCLA. 10 minutes, 26 seconds to play. This kid's really uptight, isn't he? He's grinning all over the place.
And he only needs 4 points, 3 now, to become the all-time leading scorer in Memphis State basketball history.
23-22, UCLA. Tommy Curtis is going to be coming in this game shortly. Holyfield jump shooting. He hits it. 25-22, UCLA.
Remember what we said at the beginning of the game, if Ollie hits his first, he's in for a good night. He's about 3 for 3 now from that corner.
Foul call, Westfall. Second foul on him. We have the bonus situation now, 1-1 for Bill Walton. Here's the little dynamic 6th man of UCLA. He scored 22 points Saturday. He was UCLA's outstanding player. And he was their top player against University of San Francisco in the finals of the Western Regional. Dave Myers, the human spider, has also come in, number 34. Larry Farmer's gone out. And Greg Lee has gone out.
UCLA has broken a pattern in their last 6 games of the season. They were behind at this point. They're leading right now.
Ronnie Robinson takes the rebound. Bill Laurie brings it down. Larry Keaton still on the bench for Memphis State. Ballman by Finch. He set it out with us. On the follow, the ball goes to Keith Wilkes. Wilkes holds up while Walton trots down to get in his low post position. UCLA ahead by 3 points. Walton's inside. 27-22. 16 points for Bill Walton. This is a sentimental favorite team here tonight, Memphis State. Memphis is only 290 miles from St. Louis. Holyfield gambled. Finch's shot is up, in and out. Walton clears the board. Starts the fast break to Curtis. Curtis shovels it to Myers. Myers underneath to Wilkes. And Wilkes took too many steps.
We've seen several unbelievable performances here during the NCAA finals and semifinals. Bill Walton is putting on one tonight. He is unbelievable.
Barr's shot blocked by Tommy Curtis. Finch rushed his shot. Walton clears the board. Pass to Holyfield. Holyfield can play tight end in football. He's that strong. Curtis sets it up. UCLA fans giving their team a round. And there's Walton for an easy one. 29-22 UCLA. No basket.
No basket because the referees feel that he dunked the ball. Walton so high that he went up over the rim and dropped it. We'll watch watch this pass. There's Keith Wilkes with the ball into Bill Walton. He goes high above the rim, but he turned his palms down, and that is considered dunking, so they take the basket away.
They're on Walton. He was shaking his head about it. There's an anti-dunking rule in college. Bill Cook, the freshman's come in here, number 43. Bench's shot. Walton up. He's controlling the board now. Keith Wilkes. 27-22, UCLA. Wilkes, he hits it. Very difficult shot for Keith Wilkes. Hand in his face, 4 points for Wilkes. 29-22, UCLA. Larry Finch trying to penetrate. Bill Cook, he traveled with the ball.
And the UCLA defense is starting to bother Memphis State. UCLA sets up in a full-court 2-2-1 situation, trying to get that ball pass, make you take that long pass, and make it difficult for you to bring the ball up the floor.
Timeout with the score. UCLA 29, Memphis State 22.
Wonder what it's like being an old guy. Age gives you wisdom, and age makes you wear your pants up around your head. Anyways, I got wisdom now. I go to McDonald's, hit that dollar menu, get the McChicken sandwich, fries, save all kinds of money. That's young guy wisdom. And these are young guy pants.
Catherine, wait.
Leave me alone. I'm not worthy of you.
It is I that am not worthy of you.
How can you say that? Edward, you have been nothing but honorable.
I've been a fool. My whole life. Catherine, I love you. I've always loved you.
Oh, Reggie.
You paid for 300 horses. Are you sure you're getting all of them? Introducing new Q from Quaker State. Q's patented heat-activated formula fights power-robbing friction better than any conventional oil to help maximize power and let all your horses come out. New Q from Quaker State. Unleash all your horses.
Own a timeshare, turn it into cash.
Timeshares only got us our full asking price in just a few weeks.
We couldn't believe it.
Own a campground membership, turn it into cash.
Timeshares only sold our campground membership fast.
And for the price we wanted.
Timeshares Only is the nation's largest, #1 most successful timeshare agency.
We represent properties from the biggest names in the timeshare industry.
When it comes to selling, renting, or buying timeshares, no one comes close to Timeshares Only.
With over $2 billion of timeshares sold in the last 6 months, now's the perfect time to sell, rent, or buy. And no one sells more timeshares than we do.
We work for Timeshares Only.
And our timeshare was rented before the next monthly payment was due.
You owe it to yourself to work with the best. Timeshares Only, the most trusted name in timeshares.
Call 800-789-0044 to sell, rent, or buy your timeshare and get your free information kit. Don't delay. Call 800-789-0044 now.
29-22. UCLA against Indiana fell behind twice in the first half. Rallied to take a 20-point lead, 18 at half, 20 early in the second half, and Indiana nearly overhauled them. UCLA's been behind. They got behind San Francisco early in the finals of the Western Regional. They can explode quickly.
Dr. K is back in the game now, so we'll see if he can handle Walton. No one else has been able to.
Larry Keaton has come back in, number 35. Dave Myers, Tommy Curtis outside. And fouls on Bill Walton. 2 fouls on Walton.
And the Memphis State fans go wild. They like anything to go against him. They can't believe his performance, and many of the other people can't either. But Kurt, I've watched this young man all year, his entire career, and I can say, coming down the pike, you have never seen a better player.
You think he's the best big man you've ever seen, don't you?
At this point in college basketball, he is the best big man ever to play the game.
Quite a statement when you played against Chamberlain, Dean Jamar, Bill Russell. There's Keenan rebounding. Goaltending call on Bill Walton. Bill Walton for goaltending. Watch how high he gets up there.
There's Keenan way up, and you can see the great jumping ability of Bill Walton. He's at least a foot and a half above that basket, but he did catch the ball on its down and on.
You block the shot on its way up, it's all right. Not on the way down. Dave Myers, shot blocked by Keenan, out of bounds with it. UCLA's ball out. Larry Keenan makes a big difference to this team when he's in there.
He definitely does. He can control the middle in there, too, but he's got to work extra hard to go up with Walton every time.
Keenan has scored 10 points. 29-24, UCLA. Walton. The hit is good by Dave Myers. Dave Myers is going to be an outstanding player next year at UCLA. 6'7", a sophomore. Just starting to come along. 31-24, UCLA. Keenan's turnaround jumper. On the board is Keith Wilkes. Tommy Curtis. Steps up, he's the point man. Low double post, two wingmen. Holyfield into Walton. Got it, 33-24. Bill Walton has 18 points in the first half. Larry Finch gets it across. Right back to Buford. Dave Myers is called for goaltending. Goaltending on the 6'7" sophomore Dave Myers, who can jump like a kangaroo.
Myers really goes up there. First one of 11 children. He has 6 sisters and 4 brothers.
Wait a minute now, they may be going into a zone. No. There they are.
Yes, they are.
They've gone into a zone. Tommy Curtis outside. Myers up for the follow. He took too many steps.
I knew it. We'll watch this replay, and we knew that a defensive change had to come to try to keep that ball out. Here we go. Way up, there's Davey Myers, number 34. He took a couple of rabbit steps underneath there before putting it up. He was called for walking.
Yeah, I have a little attitude, but I've earned it. I've put in the hours. I practice every day. I've learned from the best, and I have no doubt that I can play at the highest level. Right now, I'm guessing I'll end up in either Chicago or New Orleans. Most good jazz musicians do.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
I'm almost free! I'm almost free! Just one more!
The stupid things people do with their pets.
My frog's dead.
Wait a minute. You're not my cat.
Neurotic single women unite!
Sheep Seats, 10 Eastern Monday on ESPN Classic.
The main event. Real Classics Extra, 8 Eastern Sunday.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life, and most of the century's top inventions came from individuals, not companies. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Are you interested in trying to submit your idea to companies for a good faith review and in trying to patent it as well? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm with over 50 offices nationwide. Call this toll-free number now to see how to get this free information. The information includes forms to assure confidentiality, a form to record and date your idea, plus an informative brochure that explains how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and how to apply for a patent. Even if you only have an idea for improving an existing product, you'll want to call now for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call toll-free 1-800-754-0077. That's 1-800-754-0077.
UCLA has had 6 turnovers in the game. Memphis 2. Sometimes that doesn't mean a UCLA plays. They like to make mistakes. They like to play aggressively. Fouls on Tommy Curtis. First foul on Curtis. And we'll have the 1-on-1 situation now. Bill Cook, just a freshman. He's a local boy from Memphis. He's an All-American high school player. And he is a good-sized freshman. He is 6'5". Weighs 200 pounds. Here's the bonus shot. 33-27, UCLA.
Good shooter from that line, too, Kurt. He hits 83%.
They have made 5 out of 6 free throws. UCLA's made only 1 out of 4. 33-28 free throws are keeping Memphis close. We have 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the first half. Got into a zone inside. They've got to do something inside to stop Wall. Right back out to Curtis. Larry Finch takes it down. Shoots his jumper. Hits that. 33-30. UCLA's ball. Davy Myers gunning. Walton tips it in. 35-30 UCLA. Bill Walton, 20 points. That foul call on Dave Myers. Johnny Wooden thought that Myers was run over by the dribbler. First foul on Dave Myers. Johnny Wooden. Tommy Curtis is out. Greg Lee's come back in.
If Vince sinks this free throw, he will become Memphis State's all-time leading scorer.
Larry Keenan up for the rebound. Out to Finch. Finch says, come on, let's set something up. Bill Cook trying to get a screen for him up. Myers taps it over to Greg Lee, UCLA's ball. 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the half. UCLA ahead by 5 points. Well, that's what Greg Lee could do. That lob pass in, hangs it up for Walton to stuff. 37-30, 22 points for Bill Walton. Finch feeding Buford. Walton drops the shot. And a foul call on Walton. That's the third on him.
3 big ones on Walton. Buford went in there. He said, I'm going to challenge you, big fella, and you have to do that. Let's take a look at this one. There's Finch going in for the basket, dribbling across. Goes up, finds Buford. Buford in the corner. He goes up. Walton pins it. But at the same time, catches Buford and knocks him down. So Walton has the 3 big ones, and it looks like we're going to have a substitution.
There's Buford's free throw. One more shot for him. Ben Nader will come in and replace Bill Walton. Walton has 3 fouls, 4:14 to play in a half. 37-31. Ben Nader, born in Holland, that played first string for both teams, in fact, just about all of them, but he plays behind Bill Walton. Walton going out.
A similar situation in the championship game last year. Walton got in trouble. Nader had to come in. He came through last year. Can he do it this year?
Memphis State in that sagging 2-3 zone. And the Nader losing the ball to Keenan. Larry Finch foul. In a hurry. And he's fouled by Holyfield. Larry Holyfield.
Finch again goes to the line and again will attempt to set the all-time career scoring record for Memphis State. He needs only one. If he sinks it, he will have 1,855 points.
Larry Farmer's coming in. A technical foul has also been called on Holyfield. evidently said something to the official. Each team now has had a technical. And they get Holyfield out of there to get him cooled off and send Larry Farmer in for him. This is Larry Finch shooting.
Finch a good shooter from that line, 83%.
37 to 32, 15 points for Finch. The all-time scoring leader now in Memphis State history. This is the technical foul. And they'll get the ball out of bounds. 37 to 33. Larry Finch has 16 points. He's the high for Memphis State. Bill Walton has 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SUV Championships.
Anybody can ride an SUV. Not everybody rides it right.
Pushing it too hard.
Without respect for what they're capable of, it's easy to see why a lot of riders take the role. SUVs are big and powerful, and on top of one, you can feel almost invincible.
Easy now, big fella.
Keeping your SUV in off course.
Look at that control.
That's the idea, right?
There are riding mowers, and then there's the Edge cutting system. Only John Deere gives you the edge. With dependability beneath you and your John Deere dealer behind you, you'll always have a John Deere yard to look forward to. Own a John Deere now starting at $14.99. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Drink variety. Sonic's got it, others don't. Make Sonic your morning drink stop and choose from thousands of different flavor combinations. Start your day with a fresh Sonic Sunrise or come in for our classic cherry limeade. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Have you ever wanted to develop your artistic abilities? If so, you may already have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. Since 1914, we've helped thousands of aspiring artists become more skilled, more confident, and more creative in their art. Call today for your free art test. We'll help you become a better artist. Call 1-800-754-0077.
We have 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Keenan fouled by Ben Hader. Gene Bartow, his third year, coach at Memphis State. He can run for any office now and win the election. So they have a losing season.
That's right. Keenan going to the line is not a good free throw shooter, but since this one, 59% from the line. But most leapers aren't for some reason.
That's 11 points for him, and free throws are keeping Memphis State in it, Tom. 37 to 35, UCLA. They've hit 4 free throws in succession. 3:30 to go in the first half. UCLA getting a tense struggle here tonight from Memphis State. Myers hits it from outside. 39-35, UCLA. They keep the press on against Finch. Finch's shot is up and good. 39-37, UCLA. 18 points for Larry Finch. They're still using that 2-3 zone. And the ball lost by Keenan. He had it and then lost it. That zone inside is hurting UCLA right now. They can't get it inside.
Everything is perimeter offense.
Myers outside, missing. Keenan clears the board. The out pass to Cook. Cook holds it up. Memphis State trailing by 2 points. 2:30 to play in the half. Keenan jumper up. He hits it. 39-39. All tied. 2:20 to go. They were 9 points down. They tied it up.
UCLA working frantically to try to get some penetration. The 2-3 zone is something new to Memphis State. They don't usually use this defense. They would prefer a man-to-man, but it's effective right now. They can't get it inside.
And that's Johnny Wooden saying, get back, get back. Drop backward, take the all-court press off. He turned the ball over. Finch turned it over on his dribble. UCLA's ball. This game is tied 39-39. A minute 49 to play in the first half. A battle for the national championship. 19,000 roaring fans, St. Louis, Missouri Arena. Ben Nader on the pivot. Keith Slope. In and out. Nader couldn't get the rebound. Keenan out to Cook. Bill Cook. Deflected away by Memphis State. UCLA's ball. A minute 24 to go in the half. Tie game. Look at him move on that zone. Meyer shot. On the rebound. Robinson off the board with the ball. I tell you what they're doing in that zone, Tommy. They're moving so quickly. And with real determination, sliding.
And it makes it very difficult to overload the zone in that case.
They may try and play for the last shot unless they're crowded. Now they go out after him. There are 50 seconds to go in the first half. The game is tied, 39 all. Memphis State has dominated the last 4 minutes here. After Bill Walton was taken out with 3 fouls. There's your clock. Walton went out. UCLA had a 6-point lead. 23 seconds when you watch the clock. They'll try and get the last good shot of the half. Now the secret of this is to set it up and get the good shot, but not too early. Maybe with about 5 to go. Shot up by Finch. Maybe too early. 7 seconds. 5. Dave Myers guns it. And there's a buzzer, and what a first half that was. Memphis State battled the national champ UCLA dead even at halftime. And at the end of the first half of play in tonight's National Collegiate Basketball Championship final, our score, Memphis State 39, UCLA 39.
Uh-oh, not good. Okay, boys, time to go to work. Come on, let's go.
Want to keep your car looking pit crew perfect? Introducing DuPont Teflon Car Care products. When you use DuPont Teflon wax, protectant, and tire shine, dirt, mud, and grime have a hard time sticking. So your car practically keeps itself shiny. DuPont Teflon Car Care products. A miracle of science from DuPont.
You know what's insane? You can control the Black Eyed Peas with the push of a button.
F-R-E-S-H-B fresh, D-E-F, that's right, we definite, Black Eyed Peas be reppin' it. Turn up the radio, blast your stereo right now.
The music, the stuff, it all comes together right here. Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
Louder!
Hey, hi. You want to save money on gas? How about 10%? Huh? How'd you like a $25 Marathon cash card, too? Get the Marathon Platinum MasterCard from Chase and receive a 10% rebate. That's about 18 cents a gallon. Plus, you get that $25 Marathon cash card. Here's an application.
Sure.
Thanks. I gotta go. I'm needed on pump 5.
Go!
If you've got broadband, you're ready to go. Visit Vonage.com or call 1-800-972-4VON. Now available at Best Buy, CompUSA, and Office Depot.
watch this replay, Tom.
Here's Larry Finch going into the basket, guarded by Larry Hollifield. Goes into Ronnie Robinson. Robinson turns around for his turnaround jumper, and he is called for charging, and it's UCLA's ball, and the Memphis State fans say, no way! So we'll have a brief pause while the ice is cleaned up from the floor.
Incidentally, in the consolation game, Indiana took third place in this tournament. Indiana defeated Providence 97-89. Well, the young Indiana team, surprised, they won the Big Ten championship. At one stage Saturday, Tom, they had 4 freshmen and a sophomore on the floor one time in that game. And they gave UCLA a real struggle in the second half. They won third place by beating Providence College 97-79. Right now, 4-point lead for UCLA, 12 and a half minutes to play. Lena Walton. And a foul. Called underneath. Here's the replay on Westfall. He nearly tackled him. That's 3-team foul. Third foul on Westfall, and the third team foul on Memphis. Bill Walton, whose father is a district supervisor of the San Diego County Welfare Department. He had a brother that played college football at UCLA. He's never played in a losing game in high school or college. He's played 128 games in a row without a loss in high school and college. 52-47. They call that a flagrant foul, and 2 shots have been given. As I said, they almost tackled him. Gets another one. 53-47 UCLA. 34 points for Bill Walton. That's his high of the season, I believe. I think 31 is his high. UCLA. Bill Cook's in the game. Keenan. Holyfield steals the ball. And now UCLA decides to call timeout. 12 minutes to play. Our score, UCLA 55 and Memphis State 47.
It's so easy to use. Geico.com. A caveman could do it.
What?
Oh, no. Not cool. I did not know you were there. I can change.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's so easy to use. Geico.com. A caveman could do it.
What's that supposed to mean? Did you hear that?
That is really condescending.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Prepare. The journey awaits. Fight that you may prove yourself a true master. And if you conquer those who would deny your destiny, you shall be written into the legend of the Jade Empire. Rated M for mature.
Here's a fun fact. Erected in 1963, the walnut stands 15 feet high.
I'll be in the car.
Go where you want with your free weekend from Avis.
Orca! Orca! Oh, I love Orca.
I thought you loved the humpback.
I recently changed my mind.
But I thought we established that the Orca was mine.
Now rent for a week and get a free weekend to use later. Find our lowest prices at avis.com.
Hammer throw is tough. It isn't just you against a 9-pound ball. It's you against yourself. It's pure concentration, and you have to dig deep inside to find every throw. It's brutal. I had to study biomedical engineering just to relax.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
Real Classics Extra. Sports movies plus our bottom line of info and facts throughout the entire movie. Sunday, Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal star in the main event.
Meal Classics Extra, 8 Eastern Sunday on ESPN Classic.
When you've got a serious leak, it's time for Leak Ender 2000. It fixes any leak fast, no matter what's leaking. Just spray it with Leak Ender 2000, and in minutes, the leak is sealed. Look, we'll cut this garden hose with a knife, then shut off the water and spray on Leak Ender 2000. Minutes later, the hose is as good as new. The cut is sealed. Leak Ender 2000 is a unique compound that fills and seals any crack or separation as it hardens. Why put up with gushing gutters, dripping drains, wet windowsills, and rain-soaked RVs? Leak Ender 2000 stops all those leaks, and it's yours for only $14.95. Call now and we'll double your order. We'll send you this giant-size can at no extra charge. Order now.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-883-5995 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $5.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-883-5995.
Here we go, UCLA's ball. Bill Walton has an incredible shooting record tonight. He has hit 16 field goals and 17 tries. How's that for a percent? 16 out of 17. Walton again. Well, you've got to give this Greg Lee a lot of credit, Tom. His passing is now sparking UCLA.
We didn't see this in the first game, the semifinal game against Indiana, but Greg has that ability. He's a great floor general out there for the Brewers.
Bill Buford's shot up and good, 57-49. UCLA leading. Just over 11 minutes to play. It was tied at halftime, 39 all. Greg Lee's been needle threading those passes under the Walton. The pass and Walton arriving around the rim of the basket at the same time. Perfect timing. That's a real skill. Looks easy, but it's not. That shot is jammed in. See who they gave that to. Gave it to Keith Wilkes, 59-49. Both he and Farmer were there together. Holyfield's back into UCLA. This shot blocked by Walton and a foul called on Holyfield. That's the fourth foul on Holyfield.
And you see Finch driving here. It's Holyfield falling underneath, but Walton blocking that shot on top.
All right, Finch. Do the shooting. Larry Finch has 24 points. Bill Walton has 36. Three-second violation on UCLA. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. UCLA ahead by 8.
UCLA lead at this point is Memphis State's inability to have an inside game going for them.
There's Keenan, they're triple teaming him now. Bill Cook hits that foul. 59-53, UCLA. They're double and triple teaming Larry Keenan every time the ball goes inside. Bangs away. 61-53. Keith Wilkes starting to warm up. He has 10 points. Keenan. George. Fouls on Walton. 4 on Bill Walton.
on the 53. Here's the replay. Keenan going up for his jump hooker. There's Walton, and you can see him tapping the wrist of Keenan as he follows through with the shot.
Bill Walton has 4 fouls. No movement on that UCLA bench. Larry Keenan takes it 61-54. Larry Keenan has 17 points. 61-55. 6-point lead for UCLA. Now Walton has to play cautiously, or he's out of this game.
You can't challenge every driver.
That foul's on Westfall. And that's him happy now. Westfall has 4 fouls on him. From Sumner High School right here in St. Louis. Lonnie Robinson has 4 fouls. Holyfield of UCLA has 4 fouls, and Walton has 4 fouls. Bench strength may be the deciding factor. That's 4 team fouls at UCLA, and driving under is Larry Farmer. 63-55 UCLA. That's the first basket for Larry Farmer. Larry Fish gets it across. 9 minutes to play. Again, 65-55. 38 points for Bill Walton. The high of the season for him in a championship game. Bill Cook to Buford. Cooper, he hit the 65-57 UCLA. We're approaching 8 minutes to play in the game. 7 points for Buford. Bill Walton.
He's not bad for a guy with bad knees, is he?
I like to have a couple of sore knees like that. You have to be careful there. Traveling call on Westfall.
And every time the UCLA fans hear the referee's whistle, they just hold their breath because they know it's that 5th foul on Walton. But he is not playing as cautiously as I thought he would with 4 fouls.
8-point lead. UCLA out in front, their ball. Trying for their 7th national title in succession. Westfall fouls out of the game. That's all for him.
Tremendous job, Kurt. That's a lot to ask a man to come in to try to guard Bill Walton. Westfall did his best. And Walton is at his best tonight. This is one of the greatest offensive showings I've seen him make. He's spinning, he's tipping, he's taking the lob passes. He's doing it all out there. And then when he isn't scoring, he's assisting his other teammates.
Larry French talking to his coach, Gene Bartow. Clean Gene, they call him. Really a fine gentleman. Here are the turnovers. UCLA's committed the most, but they're out in front. Wilkes fires and hits again. Now he has the Bruins out in front by 10 points. Keith Wilkes starting to catch fire. 12 points. Bill Cook outside. Walton clears the board. See how he protected that ball when he came down with those elbows spread? That's the way you're supposed to come down off the board with the ball. 10-point lead for UCLA. 7 minutes to play. 7 to go. Good lead. Keith Wilkes hits again. 69-57. UCLA with a 12-point lead. 14 points for Keith Wilkes.
foul occurred, as you can see, before he released the shot. So it was a good call. But unpopular with the Memphis State fans.
Johnny Wooden, you know, makes a prediction every year to himself. He writes what he thinks his team's regular season record will be, puts it in an envelope, and hides it away. Then he gets it out when the regular season is over. I asked him, what did you put down this year? He said, I hit it right on the nose, Kurt. I picked our team not to lose a game during the regular season.
That's a height of optimism, too.
It really is. That basket counts for Larry Finch to give him 26 points in the game. 69-59 UCLA. Now 69-60 UCLA. Larry Finch has scored 11 out of 13 free throws and 27 points. Oh, banking it in again. 71-60. 40 points for Bill Walton. This may be his greatest game of his career. Walton got up there and pushed the shot in, laughing at himself. The ball was on the rim and he shoved it in for Memphis State. Even Johnny Wooden smiled on that one. That's 29 points for Larry Finch. He got credit for the basket. 71-62 UCLA. Wilson again. Walton tips it in. 73-62. 42 points from Bill Walton. The redhead has gone absolutely wild tonight. Finch up. Walton clears the board. Takes his time. 5:45 to play. UCLA leading by 11 points as they call timeout. And with a timeout, it's UCLA 73, Memphis State 62.
Our most advanced engineering, our most luxurious appointments are all found behind one grill. The Denali Line by GMC.
Wait, did you see that? Go back. Clearly, that woman is trying to get more fiber and calcium in her diet. Now, it's so much easier with new Metamucil capsules plus calcium. Metamucil fiber for regularity, plus as much calcium as an 8-ounce glass of milk for strong bones to help prevent osteoporosis. Metamucil capsules plus calcium. Stay regular, stay strong.
A rainforest, the ultimate torture test for your deck. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced, the ultimate protection. It seals out 99% of the water right from the start. For a longer lasting deck, get the most powerful protection against water damage guaranteed. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced.
Uh-oh, not good. Okay, boys, time to go to work. Come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go.
Want to keep your car looking pit crew perfect? Introducing DuPont Teflon Car Care products. When you use DuPont Teflon Wax, Protectant, and Tire Shine, dirt, mud, and grime have a hard time sticking. So your car practically keeps itself shiny. DuPont Teflon Car Care products, a miracle of science from DuPont.
Before this year's Masters, Sports Century reveals the story of Phil Mickelson.
I don't mind if players or media criticize me for reckless play because I have a lot more wins than any of them.
Sports Century, Phil Mickelson, 8 p.m. Monday on ESPN Classic.
I ran the 800. I studied mechanical engineering and industrial design. I was a conference champion. I graduated with a GPA of 3.2. It took hard work, discipline, and stamina. And believe me, I rely on those things every day raising my daughter.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
Memphis State's going to an all-court press now. They're trailing by 11 with 5:40 to play. Foul called on Greg Lee.
Little Bill Laurie doing a great defensive job, keeping good position on this man. He's only 5'10". He's a mover out there.
That's the 15th foul on UCLA. Larry Farmer up for the rebound. Curtis is going to report in with a press on. I think they want his speed and dribbling ability. Larry Farmer. 5 minutes to play. UCLA ahead by 11. To go. 11-point lead for UCLA. Passing to Walton. Walton takes it 75-62, UCLA. Bill Walton has now made, and get this, 21 out of 22 field goal attempts tonight. 21 out of 22. I'm sure he's going to break a record tonight for field goal percentage efficiency. He has scored 44 points in the game. He's playing with 4 fouls on him.
The amazing thing about his offensive output, Kurt, is that they have come from so many different directions. There have been drives, there have been hooks, there have been turnaround jump shots, banks off the baskets, everything, tips. He's done everything you could ask him out there, and he's been tough on the boards. And yesterday at practice, I asked the UCLA coaching staff, do you honestly believe that Bill Walton, one individual, can negate a whole front line, and a very powerful front line, of Buford, Keenan, and Robinson from Memphis State? And they said, we honestly do. Now, he hasn't done it all by himself, but he's a one-man gang out there.
Well, a question on him. You hear all these rumored offers, $2 million, $3 million to turn professional, and UCLA says he'll be back. Johnny Wooden told us that Walton came to him and said, Coach Wooden, are you coming back next year? John Wooden said, yes, sir. I promised you I'd be around through your career. And Walton said, I'll be back. If you're back, Coach, I'm back. So, from all indications, he's going to turn down fantastic professional offers. They call him the walking franchise. But he's coming back, evidently, and finish his senior year. And Johnny Wooden said, if those offers are true of $2 million, I'd be the first to tell the boy to take it. To help his family, to set his entire future. So if that's what he wants to do, I'm going with it.
He's an amazing man.
Memphis now is substituting players in this game. They have sent in Doug McKinney, number 40. They have also in there Clarence Jones, number 44. Walton again on the rebound. Just under 4 minutes to go. And unless Memphis State catches fire, UCLA is going to win its 7th consecutive national title, its 9th in the last 10 years, and its 75th game in a row. They have all kinds of other records. Every time they take the court, they set a record. They've had a real game tonight given to them by Memphis State. 3:25 to play. A 13-point lead for UCLA. Jump ball. Here's Larry Finch coming back in. Johnny Wooden, come on. Wooden claims that he's a better coach now than he's ever been because of experience. And every year I learn something. There's a pass down to Wilkes. Banks it in. 77-62. Larry Wilkes has 16 points now, 12 in the second half. He made many of the All-American teams as a junior. Incidentally, everybody on the floor for UCLA, but Larry Farmer will be back next year.
That's right. They graduate 3 seniors this year. That's Larry Farmer, Swin Nader, and Larry Hollifield.
But on the court right now, Greg Lee, Tommy Curtis, Bill Walton, and Keith Wilkes are juniors, and they'll all be back next year.
And a good-looking freshman team coming up.
Well, Cooper's pass out of bounds. Bill Walton down. He really hit the deck. Walton hit the deck hard. Larry Finch helping him. Larry Finch comes over to help him. And the Memphis State player, standing ovation for him. He put on one of the great shows tonight of this tournament history. His 44 points breaks Gail Goodrich's 42 points in a championship game. That's a championship game. Walt is limping off as he hit the floor. He controlled the backboard. He made 21 out of 22 field goals, and he hit 10 out of 10 in the second half.
Here's a replay on that. He was shot his block, and behind the play, you can see Walton go down. We don't know at this point if it's his knee or his ankle, but he has been helped to the bench, and Ducky Drake is working on it.
Looks like his ankle. Ben Nader replaces him. UCLA ahead by 15 points. 2.5 to play. Fouls on Larry Finch. They're working on Bill Wall. Looks like his ankle to me, Tom, his left ankle.
They're taking off his left shoe, and we'll know momentarily just what the injury is and how severe it is. He doesn't seem to be in that much pain.
Ducky Drake, the trainer, he's there, by the way, on a contractual arrangement. He reached mandatory retirement but they wanted him back. He's so good a trainer that they signed him to a special contract.
So he handles the football team at UCLA and the basketball team, and one tremendous trainer.
Billy Buford went out for Memphis State, received a fine ovation. Larry Finch leaves this game. He'll get a big hand from Memphis State. 2:24 to go. 15-point lead for UCLA. They finally stormed away here in the closing minute. And they did it with about as overpowering as individual performance as you'll see tonight by the man they're working on there, Bill Walton. 44 points, 21 out of 22 field goals he made. He controlled the backboard. He fed his teammates. He started fast break. He did everything. Well, what are you going to do? How are you going to cover a man 6'11" with that agility?
Virtually impossible.
You're up against it. 79-62 UCLA. Bill Cook. Shot by Ronnie Robinson. 79-64 UCLA. And we have exactly 2 minutes to play. Play. Greg Lee and Ben Nader. Ben Nader, who is a professional wood carver, carved chess pieces. Born in Holland, makes it 81-62-64. Larry Keenan makes it 81-66 UCLA. 1:20 to go. Now Gene Barstow is about ready to clear his bench. Will go out. He deserves a great ovation. Number 21, Larry Finch, wrapping up a brilliant career at Memphis State. Steve Bardo. He and Ronnie Robinson together there. Bill Buford. Finch and Robinson have played together since junior high school.
Mr. Personality, a gentleman, and he's really showed these fans here what Memphis State is all about. They love him.
You notice how Finch went over and aided Bill Walton off the court.
That's the type of guy he is.
58 seconds to go. UCLA has repeated as national collegiate champs for the 7th year in a row, and are already over there in the bench holding up number 1 again. But that's just become sort of a take it for granted ritual with UCLA. They're used to it. And Johnny Wooden always says to them, don't get out there now and over-celebrate. Show the poise of champions. If you lose, lose with pride. Keep your heads up. If you win, don't lord it over the other team. Larry Farmer wrapping up his career. Keith Wilkes will be back next year. How do you stop this juggernaut? Well, it's like they used to say about the New York Yankees of baseball. There's the composite of the high men. Walton with 44, Finch with 29. 53 seconds to go. Johnny Wooden has his bench in there now. We got Vince Carson. At the free throw line is Gary Franklin. He's a junior from Reseda. They have a red shirt player called Andre McCarter you're going to hear about next year. He set out a year red shirting. They'll be favored again. Franklin lets it go. 85-66 UCLA. And a foul has been called on Sven Nader. Memphis State has Jim Bliss in the game. Doug McKinney. At the line now is Jerry Tetzlaff. You know, beyond that winning streak of UCLA, this is their 75th win in a row. The only player suited up for every one of those wins has been Larry Farmer, the only player. Tommy Curtis has the rebound, 20 seconds to go. We want to thank Art Hoffman and Dennis Venetian tonight for their fine job on statistics. Art Hoffman and Dennis Venetian. The tip-in is good by Tommy Curtis. And history again. UCLA has won another national championship. Their 7th in a row. 9 out of the last 10 for Johnny Wooden. The Wizard of Westwood, Gene Bartow, very graciously congratulates him. 42-year-old coach, Johnny Wooden, 63 years old. But you know, beyond that 75 in a row UCLA was won tonight, they have won 94 of their last 95 games, and they have won 144 of their last 146 games. They're cutting down the net. Symbolic of the national title. That's the final score. UCLA 87, Memphis State 66.
The stupid things people do with their bets. Cheap Seats Monday on ESPN Classic.
But Havlicek steals it. Havlicek stole the ball. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
United to Amici. Amici powers in.
Won their 6th NBA championship.
Gibson, swing. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable. I don't believe what I just saw.
Hello, I'm Chris Fowler for Sports Century. With his visage strictly etched along American Gothic lines, he stands tall not only in the pantheon of college basketball coaching, but also in our fading legend of traditional values. As a native Midwesterner at UCLA during a chaotic era of social change, John Wooden won an unprecedented 10 national titles by lovingly and insistently teaching his players the principles of life through a visual model he called the Pyramid of Success.
Be quick, but don't hurry.
It's about what is correct, not who is correct. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Do not mistake activity for achievement.
Happiness begins when selfishness ends.
He was an English teacher early in his career, and a lot of the homilies that he would share with his team, the kinds of things you could see a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse in the 20s or the 30s posting on the wall.
For him, it was not necessarily wins and losses, but how he affected young men's lives.
Winning and losing was not talked about during the year. There may be a halftime speech that revolved around the vocabulary word enthusiasm or industriousness. He would attack the situation by dealing with some aspect of the pyramid of success.
All the human values, all the personal characteristics that he preached to us that we would need in our life to be eventually successful. That's what the pyramid is all about.
And they're mobbing Johnny Wooden as he bows out with an NCAA championship.
Best coaching record in the history of basketball. 10 national championships in 12 years. 88 game-winning streak. And maybe the best of all that no one talks about, 38 in a row in the tournament.
He won his first championship with guards as his main players. And then he won with centers. And then he won with forwards.
He never scouted other teams. And that to me said something about confidence in him as a coach, but confidence that he had with his players, that if they went out and played their game, they didn't have to worry about anything that the other team was going to do because they were so prepared to play against it.
He was so detailed that the first day of practice, he literally showed you, gentlemen, this is how we put our socks on. You know, we make sure there's no wrinkles, because if there's wrinkles, you get blisters.
He knew to the precise second where we were supposed to be on the court and what he wanted to do instructionally.
Wooden was so basic in everything he did. You could break down film and you knew exactly what they were going to do, but you just couldn't stop them.
John Wooden's on another cloud. I mean, everybody else is looking up and he's like some rain god. He's just raining down on them. But he's the best coach our country's ever produced.
With his 10 national championships, more than doubling the 4 won by the runner-up Adolph Rupp, John Wooden stands alone with cool, some say even chilly, serenity.
At times, John was above the rest of us. You felt that. He wasn't one of the guys, so to speak. Like, oh yeah, he's here and we're here. We're not good enough.
There were a lot of coaches that resented not only his success, certainly, but they resented that he tried to camouflage the raging inferno that built up underneath.
Highest line of it not really being important to win, but rather simply to get the best out of what you could be. But at the same time, this was a man who was very impatient with lack of success, very impatient with losing.
Look at Bill, look at Bill, look at Bill, look at Bill. Give it to him, over the top, over here, over to Larry.
There's this perception of John Wooden. He is this saint-like creature and so calm, so reserved. But there's also the side of Coach Wooden that he is this caged tiger. Don't forget that Coach Wooden was one of the first great basketball players ever.
If you see an old picture of Coach, he kind of looks like he was chiseled out of marble.
He was all business. When you played against Johnny Wooden, you knew you had a ball of fire on your hands.
You look in those beady eyes and that pointed nose and those ears that are like wings and the wiriness that he's a mean, tough, hard-nosed competitor.
John Wooden rode players and coaches like Leo DeRocher in baseball. He was vicious.
He has the image of the parson, but he had that rolled-up program, and he would talk to the opposing players through that rolled-up program.
It's a guy from Duke, Bob Verga, who was an All-American. As soon as Verga would come close to him, Lucius Allen's going to eat you up tonight. You haven't seen anybody as quick as Lucius Allen. I can't wait to get him on you. Bob Verga's going, he said, is that Coach Wooden talking to me?
He could make a player cry with the things he said, and he never swore.
Jesus takes the line.
When he said racial sakes a lot, I mean, the hairs on your neck stood up. You knew you were in big trouble.
If you wanted to play at UCLA, you did it the John Wooden way. He was a control freak when it came to basketball.
If he didn't like what he saw, he would sometimes stop practice, close the gym, lock it, send the guys out, tell them to come back tomorrow.
He had players leave the team. He had players who were disciplined, players who were scolded publicly as well as privately by Wooden. So there were always contradictions in this whole image that John Wooden had as being the saintly school teacher type.
He can't be St. Francis of Assisi sitting there on the sidelines. He's really General Patton underneath it all.
Are you tired of wearing food in your lap? Does that old-fashioned TV tray have you painfully hunched over? When you need to get closer, there's TableMate. TableMate makes whatever you're doing more comfortable. Its ingenious design allows you to sit back, relax, and slide the table right up to your body. You'll love getting close to TableMate. Whether it's eating, reading, or writing, TableMate will serve your family well. Ouch, cross-leg trays force you to the edge, but TableMate slides to you for more comfort. It easily adjusts to 6 different heights and 3 comfortable angles. It's like having 18 tables in one. TableMate's extra-large surface transforms from a kid's art easel to a yummy snack server in a snap. Converts from a convenient card table to the most comfortable laptop workstation you'll ever find. And when you're done, it folds flat for storage or stacks for easy access. TableMate is extremely lightweight, yet strong enough to hold up to 50 pounds and still slides with the touch of a finger. Amazing! Use TableMate to tailgate, poolside, on the boat or RV. It's the most portable table you'll ever use. You could spend over $250 on different tables to do what just one TableMate can, but you won't pay that. Call now and get the incredible TableMate for only $29.95. But it gets better. For our special TV customers, we'll also include this remote control organizer, a $20 value free. It's ideal for keeping all your remotes in one safe place. It conveniently fits over any armrest and even stores your TV books and snacks, yours free. TableMate comes with a lifetime replacement guarantee. If it ever breaks, buckles, or bends, we'll replace it free for life. You get the TableMate remote organizer and the lifetime guarantee, an $80 value, all for just $29.95. And when you call, ask how to get a TableMate free. Call now.
Call 1-800-960-9229 to order your TableMate for $29.95 and find out how you can get another TableMate free. This incredible offer won't last. Call 1-800-960-9229.
John Wooden was shaped by the values of early 20th century Middle America. Born in Hall, Indiana on October 14, 1910, his first and most enduring influence was his father, Joshua.
He really idolizes his dad. He's based a tremendous amount of who he is and what he does on little things that his dad gave him.
He has 2 sets of sayings from his father. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses.
My own idea of success came about because of my dad trying to teach me and my brothers on the farm that never tried to be better than someone else. Always learn from others and never cease trying to be the best you can be.
When Wooden was in his early teens, the family farm was lost after crop failures and bad investments. 8 years later, on the eve of his wedding in 1932, Wooden lost his life savings of $909 when the local bank closed in the Great Depression.
Influences contributed to what I think was an enduring insecurity about him, that no matter how large the accomplishment, whether it was winning national championships or running off long win streaks, these accomplishments were very fragile. It would just take the slightest little hit to knock everything down.
You're running a little scared, which I think he always did. Throughout his coaching life, it drives you forward. He saw the shadow of his dad losing that farm. It never really quite went away.
Driven by his family's misfortune, Wooden applied the principles laid down by his father. A 3-time All-American, he led Purdue to the 1932 national title and graduated with honors. After 11 years as a high school coach, an English teacher, and 2 more seasons as head coach of Indiana State, Wooden accepted the top job at UCLA, far from his roots in Middle America.
There were new things that John Wooden had never experienced on a farm in Indiana. You had drugs and different lifestyles and everything.
He coached during the Vietnam War. He coached during the era of Black Power. He coached in shifting, turbulent, awesome times. He was able to win in an era when things must have seemed just tremendously alien to him on so many levels.
He actually sat in on UCLA psychology classes to learn more about human nature.
We would have these incredible discussions all the time about how the world was changing. We'd be quoting Bob Dylan. One time he just got so frustrated though, he just said, "Hey, I'm sick and tired of this Dylan guy. I don't want to hear any more of this guy Dylan, okay?"
Here were all these students who were always testing authority, testing the establishment. And here is one of the great conformists probably of all time.
They were constantly at war with the coach and accusing the coach of interfering with their private lives and trying to impose his buttoned-down Norman Rockwell values on them.
John Wooden's a very religious man, and in some ways he treated the game religiously. It wasn't just winning, that you really wanted to win the right way. You wanted your players to look the right way, and you wanted them to behave the right way.
We fought and we battled about dress code, about hair length, about everything under the sun. I was two-time NCAA Player of the Year, and Coach Wooden came in. He looked at me and said, "Well, that's not good enough. Your hair is too long, and you haven't shaved recently enough."
Bill writes out, "This was crazy, this was terrible, it was my personal freedom."
He said, "You don't have the right to tell me how to wear my hair." And I said, "No, Bill, I don't. I don't at all. I just have the right to say who's going to play, and we're going to miss you."
We were not guys. Our position on the team. So I had jumped in the barber chair and said, "Cut it all off." Coach Wooden, he won every argument. There was never a chance of you usurping his position of authority.
Even though we didn't like things he did, we may not have liked him sometimes, we always respected him.
Nobody in our office was as productive as Clay. Of course, he's got a natural advantage.
High six. It's easier when you have 12 fingers. 12-fingered little B. Busy, busy, busy.
Now everyone can do more for less. Upgrade your office with Dell desktops featuring Intel Pentium 4 processors with HT technology. Call 1-800-DELL-BIZ today to get the latest deals on systems for your small business. Right now, get double the memory for free, plus free shipping on select systems. Other select desktops start at only $349. Get more of productivity with Dell. Get more of now.
The Final Four is set, and no one's got it covered like ESPN News. Expert analysis, scores, stats, and highlights, plus live post-game news conferences. Your source for end-to-end coverage of the Final Four is ESPN News.
Real Classics Extra. Sports movies plus our bottom line of info and facts throughout the entire movie. Sunday, Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal star in the main event. Real Classics Extra, 8 Eastern Sunday on ESPN Classic.
If you've got broadband, you're ready to go. Call 1-800-925-4VON or visit Vonage.com. Also available at these fine retailers.
Own a timeshare or campground membership? Turn it into cash.
Timeshares only got us our full asking price in just a few weeks.
Our timeshare was rented before our next monthly payment was due.
Timeshares Only is the nation's largest, #1 most successful timeshare agency, representing properties from the biggest names in the industry.
No one sells more timeshares.
You owe it to yourself to work with the best. Timeshares Only, the most trusted name in timeshares.
Don't delay. Call 800-789-0044 now.
There are a lot of John Wooden stories. One of them is he is probably the most superstitious man I've ever been around. And superstitious from the standpoint that when we sat on the bench, he had a routine he had to go through.
He'd do a whole thing. They'd touch his leg, spit on the floor, wipe it with his shoe. I don't know if it was voodoo or what. Whatever he was doing, it worked.
We'd be walking down the street, and he'd see a penny, he'd pick it up and he'd put it in the left instep of his shoe, And he said, that's one more victory.
Wooden's superstitions, faith in God, and pyramid of success did not immediately propel UCLA to national prominence. In his first 13 seasons, the Bruins only got into 3 NCAA tournaments, and each time they lost their first game.
He suffered some tough times. He came close to getting fired at UCLA.
In his early UCLA years, he was described by one of his assistant coaches as not an imaginative coach.
What did he do from 1948 to 1964? He was basically unknown. It took a long time to grow into Goliath. And when he did, I mean, there were no Davids.
Wooden's rise to prominence was helped by former player Jerry Norman, whom he hired as an assistant in 1957.
Jerry Norman was the one that got out there and beat the bushes and started getting the players. Jerry Norman was the one who always said we should full court press.
We needed to create the tempo and we needed to alleviate size as a problem. The zone press would be a method to accomplish that.
In 3 minutes, we could score 20 points off the press. I mean, you can't believe it. Teams would just self-destruct.
The combined effect of the Bruin Blitz and Wooden's fast break offense took UCLA to NCAA titles in 1964 and 65. Success bred success. New York high school phenom Lou Alcindor joined Wooden and Westwood. Beginning in 1967, UCLA won 7 straight national championships.
It was a lot easier to be a dynasty back then, I think, especially the way the NCAA tournament was set up. You didn't have as many rounds, you didn't have as many teams.
Still, he was the greatest. He had to win the conference every year. You didn't even qualify for the NCAA if you didn't win the conference. So that in itself was a remarkable feat.
Wooden's unmatched success would be clouded by a wealthy contractor whose friendship and open-handed generosity were extended to many of the players.
His pyramid of success. There's one block in that pyramid missing. Sam Gilbert. That's right at the top. Sam Gilbert was the sugar daddy of UCLA basketball. They can deny it, but believe me, he would buy it.
What do you look at your role, what it has been with UCLA and with the athletes?
Well, I think Kareem said it properly, and so many of the others. Basically, I think more of a surrogate father.
Gilbert's influence began in 1967 when his largesse helped deter 2 key players from transferring.
Sam Gilbert was probably the most central figure in keeping Lou Alcindor and myself at UCLA. He opened up his house and his family actually accepted me, and it was like my family.
Sam Gilbert purchased the players' tickets and gave them scalpers' prices for the tickets, which is an NCAA violation. They received cars either for free or for cut rate wholesale deals. They received stereos. They had abortions taken care of when that was required.
The idea that Sam was paying players and giving players a lot of freebies, from my personal experience, was not true. But in terms of getting great discounts, Sam Gilbert was the guy to go through.
They were John Wooden's players on the court, but once they stepped off the court, they were Sam Gilbert's players.
All I can do is tell my players to be careful. I was concerned that he might be doing things at times. I never knew, actually. I suspicioned.
Coach Wooden chose to ignore Sam Gilbert and to just bury his head in the sand.
John Wooden wanted to win, and the benefit of having Sam Gilbert there far outweighed the occasional aggravation and the creeping doubt that maybe Sam was doing something that was unethical.
I'd go so far as to say I think he probably did things during my tenure.
What frustrated a lot of people was that Coach didn't kind of do a big mea culpa about Sam Gilbert, when the truth of it is there's nothing he could have done to stop Sam Gilbert from being Sam Gilbert.
6 years after the Wizard of Westwood retired in 1975, the NCAA placed UCLA on 2 years probation, and Gilbert was told to stay away from the program.
To say that Sam Gilbert was a positive influence and a factor in UCLA winning national championships is a big, big stretch. Nobody had ever heard of Sam Gilbert in '64 when UCLA went 30-0.
John Wooden's accomplishments have to be seen through the prism of his involvement with Sam Gilbert. However distant it was personally, they have to be seen as tainted, poisoned.
I don't think John would ever admit that he turned the other way from it. Tried to tolerate the best he could, knowing if you don't have these players, you're not going to have a team.
Whether Wooden's place in history was compromised by the presence of Gilbert, one part of his life was beyond reproach.
No crunches ever. Introducing the amazing new Ab Lounge, scientifically designed to make the crunch as we know it a thing of the past. Ab Lounge gets you up off the floor, strengthening and toning your abdominals using the biomechanically advanced Ab Lounge Jackknife, proven in university testing to be better for your body.
When you compare the Ab Lounge to a standard crunch, well, there just is no comparison.
The advanced Ab Lounge Jackknife generates up to 75% more muscle activity in the upper and lower abdominals, and an amazing 268% more in the love handle obliques.
It's as easy to do as a crunch, but the efficient Ab Lounge design makes every move really count, targeting your abs without wasted effort. And because Ab Lounge gets you up off the floor, you have a wider range of motion, allowing you to stretch beyond 180 degrees for ultimate results.
With the advanced science of Ab Lounge, you're not working harder, you're working smarter. You're not straining your neck and back with old-fashioned crunches. You're up off the floor in padded comfs. You
also get a complete lifestyle system, including a jackknife toning routine on the Ab Lounge, a healthy eating guide, and an aerobic workout designed to maximize your results.
I have this one pair of jeans. After just 8 weeks, my fat jeans don't really fit anymore.
I lost 14 pounds. I also lost inches on my waist and went down 2 pant sizes.
Built with a rolled steel frame, the Ab Lounge can support up to 275 pounds. Custom foot pedals adjust to match your height, and it quickly folds in stores just about anywhere.
With Ab Lounge, your head, neck, and back are always supported. Ab Lounge is so easy, almost anyone can use it.
Call now, and you can try the Ab Lounge in your home for a full 30 days for just $14.95.
Order today, and we'll throw in the shipping for free.
If you don't agree that the Ab Lounge is the best way to tighten and tone your abs, just send it back within the 30 days for a refund of your $14.95. No questions asked.
Call now and say goodbye to crunches forever.
Before this year's Masters, Sports Century reveals the story of Phil Mickelson.
I don't mind if players or media criticize me for reckless play because I have a lot more wins than any of them.
Sports Century, Phil Mickelson, 8 p.m. Monday on ESPN Classic.
The stupid things people do with their bets. Cheap Seats Monday on ESPN Classic.
Wherever Johnny went, why, Nellie was with him. I never saw him ever walking with anybody else but Nellie.
Back in Martinsville High School, young John Wooden took Nellie Riley's hand and never let go.
Nellie's house was back door to Coach Glenn Curtis's house. Coach Curtis had a real strict rule about the boys on the team not visiting their girlfriends or being around the girls, so Coach Wooden had to sneak around a little bit to be with Nellie.
Nellie was much more demonstrative and much more open and vocal, and I think she was able to bring him out of his shell, so to speak.
My mother was Irish and had this fiery little temper, and Daddy was very calm, and so they made a perfect balance. It was very, very special.
Throughout Wooden's 40-year coaching career, Nell raised their 2 children, Nan and Jim, and was a source of strength to her husband.
She would go on road trips and stuff to a lot of the games with us. That was one of the things he had in his contract, that Nell could go.
I can always remember my grandfather making sure before these games that he could actually get a look at her and a little wink, and I thought that was neat. I thought it meant that basketball wasn't everything to him.
The impression that really stuck with me was that he's not the boss of his house. Even though we have this view of Coach Wooden as being the ultimate almighty, Nell is the one that really ran the show.
Dad was totally dependent on my mom. My mom put his tie out, put his shoes out, put his clothes out.
Always supportive in every way. And comes down to the most important word in our language, just love.
In March of 1985, Nell died of cancer at 73.
He kind of, for a year or so, just kind of went into a hermit's type of living, I think.
We were really worried about my grandfather. He really almost stopped his will to live. He's a very strong religious man, and I really believe that knowing that if he was to take his own life, that would eliminate his only hope to ever see my grandmother again.
Every month, he writes a letter to Nell, and he takes it and he folds it and he puts it in an envelope, and it sits on her pillow.
I wanted to write a book about loyalty. And Coach Wooden and his wife Nell, John Wooden said, okay. We made a date, and he came to the door, and he has tears. And he says, Rick, it hasn't been long enough. I can't do it. I can't talk about her. And she'd been dead 16 years.
Anytime you talk to Coach, he will mention Nellie. He always carries an 8x10 picture of Nellie with him wherever he goes.
He won't move from the condominium that they own. He won't change it. He won't take the curtains down and put shutters, because that's the way Mom had it, and that's the way she wanted it, and that's the way he wants to keep it.
When she passed away, he didn't want to go to the Final Four. It wasn't that he didn't like the game. It was just not going to be the same without Nell there. His memories of Final Four were totally wrapped around her.
In 1995, 10 years after Nell's death, Wooden was in the stands when UCLA won its first NCAA championship since his retirement. With the joys of his life diminished by the absence of his wife, Wooden continued to teach his pyramid of success.
Even if my grandfather would have never, ever won a championship at UCLA, he would still be the exact same person he is today. And I don't think his values would have ever changed.
I don't think you really realize the profound impact that this man has on you until later in life, and especially when you go through adversity. You know, I've gotten calls from him at low points in my life. You know, I had a son that drowned in 1987, and Coach Wooden, called and talked to me for quite some time.
I carry around Coach Wooden's pyramid of success in my wallet, and every time I'm struggling, every time I'm having difficulty, I just pop it open and take a look and review, because that is a foundation for success and happiness in life.
The greatest tool that a teacher can have is love. And we saw it in Poly Pavilion every single day. He never took the credit for our successes. He always said it was us, and never said it was him.
In March of 1947, a month before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in the major leagues, John Wooden took a swing at racial intolerance. The National Association of Intercollegiate Basketball barred a black reserve at his Indiana State team from its postseason tournament. Wooden declined the invitation. A year later, the NAIB reconsidered its policy, and Clarence Walker became the first African American to participate in a collegiate postseason tournament. For Sports Century, I'm Chris Fowler.
Sports Century, Phil Mickelson, Monday on ESPN Classic.
But Havlicek steals.